Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Volkswizard Wörthersee road trip. We're currently just outside Velden on the Wörthersee. We got here last night, about 35 degrees, and it was a bit too warm to sleep. So we're curtailing our stay here by a day just to head back into the mountains where it's a bit cooler. We're staying at the Hotel Schönblick, which has been okay. Schönblick means nice view. I'm sure before the trees grew you could see the lake. There's just a little window over here where you can see through the trees. We're on the top floor and you can just about see the bluey green water of the lake, but we haven't really seen much of it yet. So we'll start this video off by doing a tour of the lake, taking in the famous GTI sculpture that I've been dying to see with my own eyes for many years. Well, welcome to Reifnitz, the town named after the Golf GTI TCR wheel, and welcome to the famous granite statue of the Mark II Golf GTI. So this formed the centrepiece of the GTI event when it was held here, and I've always wanted to come, kind of didn't make it before it was shut in 2023, but I knew Lake Wörthersee would be a beautiful place to visit anyway, and I've got to tell you, it's been better than I thought, because there's a nice calm atmosphere here when there's no car events on. The water is this beautiful bluey green colour that's apparently drinking water quality, and it's just very easy to find places to get onto the lake and enjoy it. It's not like all fenced off like some of the lakes. There is a busy road on the north side, but this south side is really laid back. It is very difficult to find good hotels though. That's what's put us off from coming here in the past. Yeah, beautiful. A bit too hot. It's not always this hot, and on a rainy day it may not be as beautiful. But yeah, I'm really glad I've seen it. But now we're going to go and visit a little Porsche museum that you've probably never heard of. Welcome to Gmund in Austria, and just over here in the shadow of the castle is a little Porsche museum you've probably never heard of. It's nothing like the slick one in Stuttgart. It's run by a guy called Helmut Pfeifferhofer, and it's basically his private collection of cars. But the reason it's in Gmund is because this is where Mr. Porsche set up base during the war, well, from 1944 to 1951, and he was building the 356 in that period, and Mr. Pfeifferhofer actually has chassis number 20, which should be in the museum over here with loads of other nerdy Porsche gems.
Ein neues Fahrzeugcockpit im 1:1 Modell gebaut. Die Modellstudie einer neuen Karosserieform. Entwürfe für ein Cabriolet auf der Basis des 911.
Now, of course, there are cars in this museum, but there are also other things designed by Porsche, including a winch from the Gmund era, so presumably sometime after the Second World War. And you can see this sort of cartoon that shows its uses. So, because Austria is a very sort of agricultural country, this was obviously designed to make life easier for farmers when it came to moving logs around, etc. Anyway, back onto the cars. We have like a mock-up parts counter here with, looks like some spotlights from a Rossmann's Rally 911. We've got some wheels from some racing 911s, some definitely air-cooled Porsche wheels there. We have a bust, I think, of Ferdinand Porsche, and parts on the shelves there like it would have been in the 1950s maybe. And then onto the cars. Well, we begin with wood, which isn't really what Porsche have been using for construction, unlike, say, Morgan, but this was used to shape the aluminium panels that were used to manufacture this 356, but 356 was more commonly made out of steel, like this one. This was from 1951, and it's got a two-section windshield, which is typical of the early cars made at Zuffenhausen, so when manufacturing moved from here back to Stuttgart. Here we have a 993 Cup car. It looks like it's been racing in Italy. It was the only year when this car was used without the aero package, so even though it's a racing car, it's not got a big wing on the back, big spoilers. Unlike this one, that's a 94 car, this is from 2008. So this has got actually 580 horsepower compared to the 993, which was 310. So 2008 997 RSR. You might recognise the name on the window there, Sabine Schmitz, the Queen of the Nürburgring, and her famous fricadelle sign, because she was sponsored, I think, by somebody who made sort of meat products like that. Right, let's go upstairs and see what's up there. Actually, speaking of the Nürburgring, there's all sort of video displays here as well, just to get you into the moods. There's, yeah, definitely some Porsches racing at a very wet and scary looking Nordschleife. Okay, well, up here is the main car display area. Mixture of significant racing cars, some very interesting other cars, and some very early era cars. We have a Volkswagen, because obviously Porsche and Volkswagen were very closely related. This is a four-wheel drive Beetle, of which only 4 were made. It was something to do with Field Marshal Rommel in Africa from 1940, so this is a very, very precious car. We have another, I think, 550 Spider wooden chassis, which was driven, well, the 550 Spider was famously driven by James Dean and actually killed him. I think he used to call it the little bastard or something like that. We have a Jagdwagen from 57, which was part of a contract Porsche had from the German army to make this. And then we have a Kubelwagen from 42. So probably used in the Second World War somewhere. And then we have 356s. I don't really know much about 356s, but if you do, I think you'd be blown away by these. They're beautiful. I would really love one, but I probably can't even afford a Cayman Gt4 Porsche tractor. And then very much not a tractor, 2008 RS Spider. It looks like a sort of a Le Mans endurance racing car. Behind that, definitely 2017 probably winning car, driven by Lotterer, Yanni and Tandy. We have a 991, I think RSR. And then over here we have a 997 Cutaway, which I actually find these more interesting than the complete cars because you can see bits you never normally see. So in there we have the fuel filler, which goes to the tank, which is behind, well, in the bulkhead area there. We have the coolers for the radiators. You can see the engine, which is pretty tricky in a 911, not too bad in 997 though, but you never see the top bit, gearbox just down there. It's really cool. I could spend all day looking at that. It's got ceramic brakes as well. And then this is the 914/6, a 916 from 72, some sort of racing prototype. And then this, I'm not sure, formal Super V Rennwagen from 1972, the year I was born. And this is a Porsche 906 Carrera 6 with very distinctive gull-wing doors. They don't call them that in German though, they call them Flügeltüren, which means flying doors. A more traditional looking racing car is this 2.7 RS from 73, and it's called Leichtbau, so light build, with its famous ducktail on the back. This is a car Porsche went racing in big numbers and did really well. And then here we have a 911 997 in Austrian police colours. I'm not sure if it was ever put into service, but it was definitely used to promote the museum, as you can see by this sort of news clippings here. Okay, so that was Porsche Auto Museum Helmut Pfeifhofer, not to be mistaken with other Porsche museums. I think you have to be like a proper hardcore fan to find the journey and the money to get in justifiable, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Now though, we're going to go for lunch on a famous mountain road that Mr. Porsche used to drive to Gmund from Stuttgart, at a cafe owned today by the Porsche family. Okay, so today's lunch stop is on the Großglockner High Alpine Pass. That means we've got to pay about 30 euros to drive the High Alpine Pass, which is brilliant. And on that pass is a cafe called Fat Man Kai, which is run by a member of the Porsche family. It is a must-see destination if you're a Porsche fan by all accounts. They only open a few days of the week and only for a few weeks of the year. So we've timed it really well, and the Großglockner is an amazing place to visit if you've never done it before. It's not driving heaven by any means, there's a lot of tourist traffic, but we're on a weekday, it's quite late in the day, and we've got no luggage on board, which is nice. It was on the channel in 2023 when we were in the Boxster GTS heading for Venice. Now we're just going to sort of just take it nice and easy, enjoy the scenery, and hopefully enjoy a nice cup of coffee at Fat Man Kai. Dankeschön. Well, we made it to the cafe. I'll just catch these guys before they drive off before I tell you about it. So we've got 3 Italian cars. One's a 308 Ferrari, one's a 718 GT4 who's waving at me, and a nice 911. It's very unusual to see people from Italy with really nice cars because the tax over there is incredible. Okay, they are not stopping for a drink, but we are. So we are now at Fat Man Kai. It's a funny name, but Fat International was a famous sponsor of Porsches. It's a cafe that was opened by one of the Porsche family, Ferdi Porsche, and it's been open since 2023. We actually drove past it in July 2023 when it had just opened, didn't realise till we got home. Yeah, it's a spectacular place, obviously with the view here on the Großglockner. Ironically, right by a speed camera that's just flashed, catching somebody flying past it at 70 kilometers an hour. Okay, let's go into Fat Man Kai. What a cool place to sit and enjoy a coffee and get fired up for the drive back. if you're into cars. Another thing you'll enjoy about the Großglockner is seeing prototypes testing. Here we have a Volkswagen Caddy 7-seater with passengers made up of heavy water tanks on a brake test confirmed by the Bremsen test sticker on the back of it. Plus, we also saw a partly camouflaged Mercedes coupe SUV flying down the pass, presumably testing brakes as well. If driving the Großglockner wasn't enough of an adrenaline rush, here in the town of Kraftbrunn, at the bottom of the Großglockner, there's a thing called the Alpine Flitzer. It's basically a toboggan run on rails. You go up slowly and then you come down at speeds of up to 40 kilometers an hour. It's 15 euros per person. Sounds like a lot of fun. So let's do it. Okay, we shouldn't really be filming this, but I've got to really, just so you know how good it is, so you can come do it yourself. So I've got Kate in front of me on this little cart, and we're going up at a slow speed, and it's when we come down that it gets really exciting.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, that was the Flitzer. Couldn't really give you the best footage because you're not allowed to use your phone, though lots of people were. As you can see, Kate came with me. It was quite cosy. You were screaming a lot. I hope that was on camera. What do you think?
I thought it was really good, actually. I thought it was going to be scarier than it was, but it was actually fine, wasn't it?
Pay €7, you get a photo as well.
And I look like Princess Anne.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now let's show you where we're staying in Kraftbrunn. Might look a bit familiar. Actually, just walking back to the hotel, we've come across a little car show in front of the fire station here at Kraftbrunn. It seems to be pretty Audi related. So these cars badged Auto Union. You can see the four rings here on these cars. Although this one, to me, looks like a military spec Trabant. I'm not sure if there was an enemy coming, that they'd be particularly scared if they saw you in that, particularly with the roof down. This one's also Auto Union, I think, and this one. So they make some big luxury saloons, I would say probably just after the Second World War. Check these out. And here, a more modern classic Audi, the 80 based Cabriolet in laser red. Leather interior, manual box, quite rare. Unusual wheels, and it's got the normal headlights. There's some really nice headlights on slightly later models, I think. Before I show you our room, I just need to show you this car park, because also staying in the hotel are some people taking part in a road rally called Vine Emilia. Obviously a play on Mille Miglia. They're doing 1,000 kilometers on a sort of wine tour, starting between sort of Frankfurt and Strasbourg and finishing in Murano in the South Tyrol. So they're going at a very steady pace. They're not going very fast. What we did in 5 hours, they've done in 3 days so far. But yeah, there's so much variety here. We've got Porsche 924, we've got an NSU there, we've got old 911s, loads of SLs, loads of really interesting Mercs as well. An old Jag, that's probably worth about 500 quid from Switzerland. It's amazing. Also staying in a hotel for just one night were some members of Porsche Club Bulgaria, who, if they've driven there from the capital city Sofia, had done about 1,000 miles. And if that wasn't enough, as they drove the Großglockner on the evening of their arrival in Capron, they encountered a massive hailstorm that saw them arriving somewhat shaken at the hotel quite late at night, and they only had one night before they set off very early on the next morning, presumably destination Stuttgart. And as you might have guessed, we're back at the Town Spa in Capron. So we've had 5 nights here in 3 different rooms. You've seen room 1. Room 2 was probably our favourite, which is in the new nature blocks. And this is room 232, which is a weird one that's been squeezed in at the end of the corridor on the 2nd floor. But it's really handy for this video because I can show you the spa and how it integrates with the hotel. So if you imagine this whole complex as a U shape, then the spa is down here and the hotel's here. So you're looking at the front of the spa, people going in there for the day today. It's about, I imagine, 40 euros per person for the day. We haven't paid because it's included in the hotel charge, and it is brilliant. Just over the front of the hotel, looking at the glacier, which is hidden by the cloud today, are loads of outdoor pools, but there's indoor pools. Obviously you can have treatments. There's an amazing gym as well. Most interestingly, there are 2 exclusive pools as well for just hotel guests. So you've got the glacier view one just there, and you've got the one you saw at the end of part 1, where my feet ended the video, just up there. So, you know, even if the weather's not great, which it can be here, even in the summer, there's lots and lots to do, and people come here from afar just to go to the spa. But yeah, I really need to tell you how good this hotel is, and our night in Worcester reminded us how good it was. So it's not cheap. I think the cheapest we've paid is 300 euros a night, up to 400 for last night, which was a Friday night. But in that you get a half-board buffet, and the buffet is just mind-blowing. We've had buffets in other hotels and they've been terrible, and this, there's just so much food, so much variety, all done so well. The staff are amazing, and there's an indoor car park as well that's free, which is important if you're driving here. Holiday's not over yet though. We're going to head back today, heading via the Gerlos Pass, which is a little known pass on the way to Innsbruck. And then we're going to stay in the Premier Inn at Karlsruhe for like £70 for the night, which is unbelievable. We were thinking about going back tomorrow night on the Eurotunnel, but actually it's like 180 quid. For that, we can get an Irish ferry across the channel on Monday and a night in the Radisson at Bruges, I think for probably less than just the Eurotunnel. So we get an extra day of the holiday, and the weather in theory should be amazing. As ever guys, thanks for watching this Volkswagen road trip. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one very soon. And yeah, just appreciate this view of Capron